This is Eric Holder, the Attorney General. No clemency for Edward Snowden. Blame it on the Germans, I guess. That's been a good catch-all. Now, I want to get back to the tape I was doing on about what's happened when I was able to get a place to live here. And I'm focused on Richfield, Edinburgh, retirement, and Joseph's Dreams because they're HUD. They're low-income housing, federally funded. I also wanted to, before I put it away, if I can find it here, I'm organized and not organized. I don't see it right at the moment, so I guess I've covered it. No, I wanted to read this again because I put this on Facebook, um, my timeline, when I first opened my account. It's Aristotle. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. So if you could have someone go through life with every law in the book broken, it would be me. It done to me. I was kidnapped and brought over here and given another name. It just went on, and I'm 75 years old. It was done in plain sight by this country, who that was the reason they claimed they stole it from the British in the beginning was freedom and all this good stuff. Sounds good, but it's like, well, anyway, nobody's paid for anything that's been done to me. It's still going on. So I've had to go back, if you care to go back to the other tapes. There's about 5 of them now. But I wanted to address Richfield. I had lived there, and law enforcement took me there in '08. Same thing happened to me. I was gassed, got in. Took me 2 months or so to get in there, but, well, it was all pre-planned. At Edinburgh, I was put right in, and then at Joseph's Way, I was put right in. Had to break the leases because they gassed me. And they all knew that I was allergic to chemicals. They were in on a conspiracy, and it's assault, and they should be charged with, and nothing has happened to them, except this woman. Now then, suddenly, let me say this, she was at where I lived at the low income, the HUD. Now then, she has denied me here, and the reason she given me is a total lie, and it doesn't even go along with what the federal standards are. So it's all a joke to them. That's the way it's been treated. Now, she's moved on up during this time, from '08 when I lived there, and it was also Renee Williams that I got a letter from here and corresponded with. And when I have to put this in, and you have to laugh or you scream, I was sent a folder with her card on it, Renee Williams, and an email. When I emailed her, she sent back to me on the bottom of my email, or the reply, and she said that she said something with numbers on it, and it was something that for I really don't know what it was, but it had a burn notice on it or something. And then when I tried to email her back, she had put me on a spam list. Now I'm trying to just correspond to see if my application has been approved or denied, which is a joke that I've got to go back there and beg for people that should be locked up. And then she had me on a spam. I don't think I've been on a spam list. Wow. So anyway, this is her, and she's moved on up, and this is where she denied me. Well, they all know it. So this is Roanoke, but it wouldn't be any different anywhere else. I mean, they're afraid of what's being used in the law enforcement involved. So here's where. Okay, now I want to go back to this criminal background. The last 2 places I had lived at, and they're Joseph's Dream, same thing happened. I put it on prior tapes. I moved back to Roanoke. I had to leave and break the lease after 7 months of being so sick I couldn't live and the damage being done. And they had, in Christiansburg, Moore and Associates had a brand new one with just 4 residents in it. So suddenly I can't get in. Where I was put in before, right immediately, I can't get in. And it required a criminal background check. And wherever I'd worked and wherever I'd lived. You don't do this on HUD. I mean, even the worst criminal, if I'd committed a crime, uh, you have to be a convicted felon or evicted and still be owing or not paying, which none of those were true. In fact, a background check should be done on these people. They joined a conspiracy and assault with a deadly weapon to me. I'm allergic to chemicals. They soaked me. So I wanted to show this. This is Allison and the criminal background check. Uh, so I guess that's all I was going to put on here. I suppose I want to address this because I put it on other tapes, and I have all these papers. After I left there in November the 22nd of '08, I was taken, and this is all happening to me. Should live in Buckingham Palace, and I've been made a pauper. And if I have to quote somebody else, Larry Flint wrote it up in Hustler magazine in the April issue of '84, and said they'd made me a pauper candidate when I ran for Congress. But I want to address Ron Sizer. These people are getting off clean. They're just going on with their life. He lives at, I'm going to give his address, and I've got all this stuff, and I've put it on here. 224 Valley Road in Troutville. Lived there from 11/22/08 to 4/3/09. He had this beautiful home out in Troutville where it's close to the trail where I lived. Now I'm going to turn it around. All these years, just trying to stay alive in this hell. Freezing, starving, people passing by me on the highway that could have hit me easily, or it's something that's so hard to believe. And if you heard other people and the things that go on in Roanoke, and this would go on somewhere else because they're Americans, they don't have to pay for their crimes. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going back to Ron Sizer. A person from homeless assistance, okay? It's bad enough, but anyway, homeless assistance. I had paid my rent at a motel there in the winter, 1st of November of '08. And on my phone, and that's the only time my phone wouldn't work, and when I got it to work, it was a message from him. It was Ricardo, homeless assistance, that said he was going to help me. Okay, I want to inject this. He told me, whether it's true or not, he told me that he had been in D.C. He's from, not Chile, I think he's from Venezuela. Pinochet, I think is, excuse me for mispronouncing right at the moment, but anyway, I've forgotten who was the leader there, but anyway, he fought against the leader in one of the South American, is Venezuela or Chile? And he spent time in prison. Now then, he came to the United States as, that he was being, abused because of his political beliefs, political prisoner. Okay, so he comes here, but now that so he's working for homeless assistance. And by the way, you should see he and his girlfriend's home. They live not far from Roanoke. You wouldn't believe their home, with trees and farmland all around them, or trees. Gorgeous place. You wouldn't believe it. So he's here, and he's telling me that he was in D.C., and part of his family came up here, too, to the States. He said that he was in D.C., and somebody with the FBI, an agent, pulled him off the street and told him to come up to their office. He did, and they took him back in there and showed him where they had all this list of stuff on him, and if he didn't go along with what they told him to do to me, that they would send him back. And he told me, he said, if they sent me back, the minute I got off the plane, they'd shoot me. So now then,